I think I want to change up the scenery. Let's go outside. Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Adrian Reddix. Excuse the noise because I'm outside and you might hear some dogs barking because my neighbors love their dogs. Today I want to talk to you about something that I deal with on a daily basis, and that's troubleshooting. It's part of my job. I troubleshoot on seems like an hourly basis. And a lot of problems that I encounter, which I get paid to do, can in fact be done with some simple basic troubleshooting. So let's say if you have a device that's not working so well and you take it into a repair shop and they charge you a $50 diagnostics fee, or they find out what the problem is and charge you $50. A lot of the times the problems are so simple that you could do it at home and save that money. And if you do these things and you still have a problem, then take it to the experts and have them fix it for you, right? The way I do my troubleshooting, everybody has a different method of doing theirs. I use a theory called Occam's razor. Occam was a old guy from back when, but his thing is usually the simplest solution is the answer, which, you know, it seems simplistic, but I can guarantee you for 80% of the problems, the 80-20 rule, for 80% of the problems I encounter, it's simple things. So I want to give you a couple tips that you can use to save you a little money and bump up your troubleshooting skills. I'm gonna give you a couple scenarios and we'll go through how I would do a basic diagnostics on each one of them. The first one, my phone won't power on. Okay, so the first thing I would do is do a long press on the phone because a lot of times it just needs a little waking up. The next thing you do is check your charger because it may not be charging. You may have a bad wall port or a bad cable. The next thing is take a known good wire, a USB type C, type A, and plug it into a computer to see if the computer recognizes it. If that doesn't, then we know there's some other issues going on, and then we would go to the battery. But since a lot of phones these days have batteries that are not easy to get to, and if you're not technical, I would definitely tell you to take it to a reputable repair shop and have them look at it. Next scenario. Let's go out in the garden for this next scenario. It has a lot of weeds, but you know, whatever. I'll weed it eventually. All right, next scenario. Next scenario is gonna be my computer won't power on. All right, so your computer won't power on. So the first question you ask yourself, is it a desktop or a laptop? That's gonna determine what you do next, right? So if it's a laptop and it won't power on, first thing you need to do is check, and this goes with the desktop also, you need to check the power adapter. So check the power adapter to see if everything is tightly snug and in the wall, tightly snug to the power adapter, and tightly snug to the computer or desktop itself. Because I can guarantee you, there's been so many times people say that their computer won't plug in and a pet knocked the cable out, or you accidentally brushed against it and it's loose. So definitely check your power connections first. Make sure that you check that it's actually turned on. Press the power button. I know it sounds ridiculous. I know. But check the power and see if the power button is on. It's so many times people saying that it won't power on and they never knew where a power button on was. Somebody turned it on for them and they just used it. And a very rare case, and that's why I say you go from simplest to hardest, is the outlet might not be working. So try a different outlet to see if it's not just an outlet problem. This is a very rare problem, but it can happen. Okay, next scenario. The next scenario is gonna be my phone is doing something weird and it's glitching. Okay, let's go through it. I know that a lot of brands say that clearing background apps is not effective, or that background apps have no impact on usability and things like that. But I can guarantee you that if it's a background app, something has to keep that memory cache. And cache means that it's in storage, right? Clear all your background apps first. That's the simplest thing to do. Clear them out, see if the performance has improved. The next thing I would do is check to see if your firmware has the latest operating system, because the problem that you're experiencing could have been fixed in a operating system update. Another thing is, what type of apps are you running, especially on Android? Android is not as restrictive as iOS as far as apps, and some of the apps can be resource hogs. So what are you using? What's running in the background? Check that out. So you can go to settings and see what's running in the background, what's taking up most of your battery, what's taking up most of your processing time. That can definitely impact your performance. So definitely check out what apps you use. And the last thing, which is, I'll save the last thing for the most expensive or the most time consuming, and that's going to be, how old is your phone? You may get to a point where your phone is too old. I mean, there's no reasonable expectation that you should have for a iPhone 4 or a Samsung S3 or that first Sony Xperia to still be working today. It may work, but it's not optimal. So you have to ask yourself, is this phone too old? And that's my basic troubleshooting process. Again, if you go through all that and you still have problems, take to your neighborhood, locally repair shop, or your local repair shop. Another thing could be if you have screen cracks. Screen cracks can affect the performance of a phone sometimes. If the actual glass is cracked, then excuse me, if the actual glass is cracked, that's one thing. But sometimes that crack can have some weird things happen on that LCD, which is the screen under it. The screen under it could do some weird things, and pressure from the cracks could start to damage your LCD. So that could be an issue. Not all cracked screens are like that, but that could be an issue. Another one I come in contact with a whole bunch, because I mean, printing is not as big as it used to be, but it's still a reality of life. I probably print maybe 4 or 5 times a month, and it's only certain things because, you know, email and internet exists. I can't print. I don't know how many times I have this conversation on a weekly basis. I can't print. So the first thing I ask, is the printer turned on? Yes. Is the printer turned on? 99% of the problems come from the printer not being turned on. Second, are all the connections good? Because you got to go through the connections to make sure everything is tight and in place, because things happen. People brush against things, people move devices, and things can come loose, right? And here's another one that's just, I don't get. Are you selecting the right printer whenever you go to print? A lot of the times that I get on people's computer and they say they can't print, they have a bunch of PDFs, because instead of selecting the right printer, they select Microsoft PDF to print, and they just save it as a PDF and don't realize they're doing it. And then they get frustrated that they are not being able to print because they didn't select the right printer. Another common issue is there paper in the printer? Please check the paper. I mean, it's easy. Just make sure you have paper. That's all. Then we get to the most expensive part. Do you have ink? Is the ink empty? And that's how you troubleshoot that. The last thing that I want to talk to you about. Oh, here's a puppy coming, so you may hear some beagle bowing. Yeah, he's coming. I see you, buddy. Come on. Come on. I see you. I'm here. Come on. No? Not gonna say anything? Okay. The next thing is gonna be internet. No internet. So we're gonna troubleshoot this on a laptop, a desktop, and a phone. So let's start off with the phone. So if you don't have any internet on the phone, check your settings, make sure that Wi-Fi and or cellular data is turned on. On a laptop, usually most laptops have a switch of some type that turns Wi-Fi on or off. Sometimes it's a button, sometimes it's an actual switch. Check that, make sure that's good. And on desktops nowadays do come with capabilities for Wi-Fi, but if you're not using Wi-Fi, make sure your Ethernet cable is snugly, what did I tell you? That's not the Beagle. That's her. I hear you. It's a pretty chill dog. She's easily excited. So desktops, make sure it's snugly secure inside the computer, right? Next thing, so you make sure your Wi-Fi or your Ethernet is on. Okay, so the next thing you go for is make sure your router is connected and powered on. All right, so you checked, make sure everything's snug in, make sure you have power. Okay, so the next thing, hopefully you have more than one device that connects to the internet. Most of us do. So check the internet on that device. If you can get internet on another device, then you know that the problem is going to be on your current device. If you can't get internet on that device, then you know the problem is going to be the router. So once you do that, if you figure out that it's your phone, then you got some other things. You could have some rare like a Wi-Fi antenna go out. That's a very rare occasion. Most of the time it's just you don't have your settings on. You can contact your internet service provider and see if you have an outage or what the problem is. So I want you guys to look at something. I have my first, let's get close. It's a watermelon and some tomatoes. Yeah, let's get that in focus. That'd be awesome. No focus? No? Okay, that's fine. You don't have to focus, it's fine. Guys, thanks for joining me outside. Next video will be inside, and yeah, I appreciate it, and have a good one.